We have to become the person we are meant to be first, to live the life we are destined to live. We all encounter challenges, obstacles, and even dark times on that journey. But we are not alone. This podcast will give all seekers hope and understanding that others have walked that path before us. My guests will share how they overcame the challenges and what helped them turn the corner. Listening to their inspiring stories, get motivated and take action to transform into that amazing person that you really are. Your voice needs to be heard and your message must be shared. My name is Sabine Quenberg and I am your host. I'm glad that you're here to listen to my podcast where you can discover how to become the more incredible version of yourself. Are you ready? Let's get on this journey together. Welcome everybody. I have another international guest today, Brian Müller-Jacobsen. As you may have guessed, he is from Europe, Denmark to be precise. And if you want to hear how he survived a motorcycle crash, overcame the odds of losing his foot, and walked through Iceland in the middle of the winter, facing death a couple of times, then stay tuned. Brian is sharing his fascinating journey of overcoming personal challenges and business failures. Most importantly, these experiences helped him to become his greater self. Today, he is teaching yoga and his mindset concepts to people seeking peace and enlightenment. Without any further ado, let's hop into this enthralling conversation. Welcome, Brian. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm doing a lot better than when I woke up this morning. So that's awesome.
So you are in Denmark?
Oh, yes, I am. Yeah. And it's 4:00 in the middle of this half island we got, Jylland. It's called Jylland.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, I am originally from Hamburg, Germany.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I know that town. Yeah. It's like 400 kilometers, south.
That's
straight.
Right. That's right. And when I was a kid, I was watching all the Astrid Lindgren's tales. Of course, Pippi Longstocking.
Yeah.
So I guess you are familiar with that one, right?
Oh, yes, I am. Yeah. She can carry a horse,
I know. And the funny thing is, my background, I was an actress and director in Germany for 10 years. And one of the roles that I played, Pippi Longstocking.
Nay.
Yes.
Okay.
That was so much fun. And I didn't carry a horse, but I did carry the policeman because...
Oh, you did, huh?
Yeah, because I used one of my judo knowledge that I had, so I was able to get him on my shoulder, and the kids were like, oh, "Whoa, she's really strong." But we are not here to talk about Pippi Longstocking, but rather we want to hear your interesting journey. So tell us, Brian, what's your story?
Oh boy, which one? Basically, I had a normal upbringing. So the way I look at it right now, in terms of me becoming a mind trainer, which is quite interesting turn of events. My upbringing was quite okay. Usual school in Denmark. I went to high school, pretty normal there. Started to be more curious about what my passions are. Then I went on my bike, motorcycle, got that after high school, and I crashed. And I crashed terribly. My foot was turned off, put back on. And that's actually the first time I realized that that I have a different mindset than the norm. Because the doctors told me, probably not going to run again. Probably this is not going to work out, because everything is... Your leg didn't break, it shattered, like that. So if you can walk again, it would be good. And in my mind, I'm just going to train it. It's just going to be trained, it's going to work again. And so instead of having 1 year off just relaxing, I had to retrain my leg. And then I went to the university. So I went to nanotechnology, spent a few years there, and then I started playing poker because that was much more interesting, much more fun with the poker.
I was seeing that on your website. I was saying,
Uh-huh.
how did that happen? So
There's a
yeah.
group. I just saw a group playing poker, and I was like, "Well, that looks interesting. What is that about?" It's math, psychology, and using your skills to determine the tendencies of other people and myself. Yeah. So I was like, "Whoa, I can become my own boss." Always wanted that. Didn't like the way the teachers on the university were teaching because basically they didn't have the job that they were teaching. They were teaching the stuff, but they were not using it. So I was like, there's something off here. So I went on to play poker. I did that, and everything went very great in the beginning. And then I realized, or I became aware of, some of my more hidden tendencies that I had picked up from family relations, how to handle emotions, how to handle when things are not going my way, because everything had, of course, gone my way, right? Through school, everything was set up for us. Everything in this Denmark community is set up for us for the first 25 years almost. Everything is set up. You can just pick that school, pick that thing, you're paid, you can just go. And it's not really an issue. You get some grades and you're on, you go. Then I had to stand on my own feet. And when I choose to play poker, suddenly no one supported me. Everyone was telling me, you can't do that. You can't live by playing poker. This is not possible. Why are you doing that? You're wasting your talent. No one agreed with me. So I had to actually basically stand on my own feet. And that went okay until I got very unstable. And I did that because so the more money you have, if you're not in balance, the more way off everything just goes just more rapidly. So my way of coping, my coping mechanisms took off. There was alcohol, girls, and a little bit of weed. And of course, that was not sustainable. And after about 3 years, everything just broke down. Everything just broke down. I lost everything. And I had to start from scratch. And also with my health and money and everything from scratch. So I did that. I decided to start from scratch. And that went okay. I found a girl. We were doing it together. She was also breaking off bad habits. And then I was very angry. I was very angry. Why is the community not supporting us in what we really want to accomplish? What we see is exciting, and just telling me how I should be instead of telling me, it's possible what I want to be, and not even my family would support me in those terms. So this anger persisted for about 3 months. And I'm telling you, I was angry. I didn't want to pay any bills. I didn't want to pay anything. I didn't want to do anything. Everything should just be free. We're living on this planet here. Who's saying that things cost something? I mean, what are they? So this anger, one evening, suddenly something within me just called out and said, you know what? I want peace. I deserve to have some peace. And in the moment that I accepted that for myself, I took a book came to me, like people coming with that book, like 2-3 places. A Course in Miracles came to me, a very interesting book. So I read that book. I did all exercises for 2 or 3 years, and that turned things around. So everything changed from there. When I went broke and we established a new foundation, I started teaching yoga. And yoga, it not only in the terms of physical practices, but also this mind part, this mind training part that you have to you have to use your attention consciously. You have to start moving the body and focus on the things you desire more consciously. The relationship with my girlfriend back then, which I had a child with, that went off. And she got very scared that if we could live off me starting to doing my business, like I wanted to teach instead of playing poker. Because I felt like playing poker is a one winner and a lot of losers. And I wanted to do more win-win situations. And I could see by teaching this mind training that I could make more win-win situations. So I started that, didn't make as much money as I needed to the first month. She got scared. I had no clue how to handle that fear. And the trust broke, and she went, to Iceland. And then I just went my own ways, kind of. And I've been on that journey ever since. And everything is rooting quicker and quicker now. The manifestations are happening quicker and quicker. And I take the leaps of the jumps that I need to take, the risks that I feel is necessary. And I have to face my fears, face whatever comes my way. Yeah. And just figure out, how can I live intuitively? Now I don't have responsibility. I can just take the leap without affecting anyone, so to speak. So I wanted to make a step-by-step model that could teach you, the skill set and develop that competence that it's possible. And I just started doing that without having a clue that in order to do so, I had to go through the experiences that I had, right? I had to detach myself. I could not be emotionally or personally attached to any outcome as I began on that journey, because that is a blockage. The vision that I'm developing now, so the more clarity on my vision came when the name A Mind for You came up, and I was like, oh, that's what I'm bringing. That's what I'm teaching. No exact steps or exact way, but actually developing or recognizing that a mind works for you if you follow these steps.
And how have you been doing it? How did you start developing that process of teaching that?
I just, with myself, I just followed my own intuition. The first vision that became very clear was I wanted to go to, when my daughter and my ex-girlfriend went off, I wanted to go to Vegas. I wanted to play poker there. That I wanted. And that I manifested. So that was the first step. I started meditating very deeply, used some resources through learning strategies. And one thing that made the whole change was I used a method called borrowed genius. Now you're asking, okay, I used a method called borrowed genius. And there you, in an imaginary world, you make up. You meet the genius that you want to learn from. And I picked Jesus right away. I was like, I want to see how he's experiencing life. I want to know what went through him since he could do what he did, what understanding. So I picked him. And I've never had an experience like that before.
Wow. I can only imagine. I mean, Jesus said, well, you can do all the things that I did and even greater things. Of course, I paraphrase here. So I'm wondering, how was that feeling? How was that experience for you?
Very interesting. So you step into the body of the genius you pick, if they say okay for it. I've actually had one picture of a guy who said no, but everyone else has said yes. So I stepped into the body of Jesus, and my mind has never been that calm. And I could hear everything in that forest that we're walking, and it was like he had not a single thought of worry or speculation or what is this, or no question at all. He was just one with wherever he moved that body. That changed me.
Wow. That is a really profound experience. And of course, everybody has their own way to connect to what I call higher power. But I like what you said. And actually, are you familiar with Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich?
Oh, yeah. I read the book. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was talking about sitting on a table with his quote unquote advisors that he picked, right?
Yeah.
And even though some of them already transitioned to, not alive as we know it. And so that gave him a lot of the insights, the intuition, feelings. And yeah, for some people who are not quite there yet, they may think, ooh, that's like wooey, right? But everybody has their own path and their own journey, how to get where they need to go. And I think we have to respect that too. Once you experience that peace, it's like, wow, then you know you can always experiencing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can always step back into that experience when you remember that. So that was your big turning point when you had that experience?
I think so, yeah. I mean, also I had a vision that I needed to walk across Iceland to meet my daughter. So walking across Iceland was probably where, so I had that amazing experience, but I didn't really remember it. Like it was just, okay, that was interesting. Okay, I connected with inner peace. Thank you very much. And I started to grow that. But I needed to also walk the talk.
Mm-hmm.
So walking across Iceland alone in the wintertime in 2015 in February month, cannot recommend it.
My husband and I, we were in Reykjavik for a couple of days. So in the summer, and it was cold. So I can only imagine how it was in the winter time for you.
It's -20. So it was very cold, -10 in the day. Yes,
Gosh.
very cold. Was the most horrifying and most beautiful experience that I've had in such a short time. So it's a period of 11 or 13 days total. And so I didn't walk the whole way. You probably guessed that, 650 kilometers. But there I got the teachings like blown in my face, literally speaking. So there was a hurricane over the island at that time. And I had to walk, against the wind the whole way. And there was like, I was physically exhausted at one point. And with my old mindset, I would be like, okay, willpower, I just need to, my willpower to focus all my willpower. And then something came to me and asked me, what is it you love the most? What is it you love the most? And I was like, oh, that in the world. And that would be my daughter at the time. Okay, and so I connected with the love for my daughter. And it was really like physically something just came around my body. And I could walk through a hurricane, and I just walked, and it was good, which was very interesting. So usually that's what I connect with. That was one teaching, to connect with love. Another teaching is to give up if the mind is too focused in one specific way it has to be done, and you face a wall, right? You instead of go around the wall, you just keep on nailing that wall. So second lesson was that I need to give up. So that was death. Death came on my on terms with me and asked me, what about dying? Have you considered dying? What would that be? Maybe just get rid of this body here and take a nap. And I was like, but then I'm just going to get a new body, and then I'll have to relearn the lessons. So I better just, stay here and do it now.
But what you said was very interesting. To give up, I think what you really mean is just to release it, just to release the outcome.
Yeah, I basically it's just I allow myself to relax.
Exactly. And
then and there genius strikes me every single time. I just lay down on the floor, and then I just say to the universe, fuck it all. And then it comes and it takes me up again. I don't have to do it. It will pick me up.
Yes.
Yeah, it picks me up.
It's so powerful. I suppose you met your daughter?
I was with my daughter every 14th day, every second weekend for a year, and had my ups and downs on Iceland because I started without any money. So I was living on the streets at first. But kept my spirit because I knew this was a teaching. Yeah, what I'm teaching, I needed to see if it works, so people don't end up on the streets, and then it doesn't work. Yes. I mean, I would be very sad to give them something, and it doesn't work. So I had to test it, and not just test it so secretly I could, just pick up a big bag of money. No, I had to test it and be by myself. So the universe usually puts me in that situation where I need to find the right solution in order to make it happen. I need to connect with whatever it is I need to connect with. And also I need to teach it. So the whole course is based on, problem solved, write it down. Problem solved, write it down. Yeah.
Oh, that's a simple step, and that's another thing. You have to make it simple for your students and clients that they actually can replicate that. So when you said you had to do it and teach it at the same time, were you able at that point to already start your teaching journey, or did that come later? So how did you
So
survive?
it's not by, well, I just sat down on the bench and was very happy, and I was very faithful that I would find a place if needed. And suddenly some guy just sits down next to me on the bench, and he was like, a little bit drunk, and then he looks at me and he's like, well, why are you having a sleeping bag? Don't you have a place to sleep? And I was like, yeah, sure I do. I sleep over there in the woods. Oh, okay, you don't have to do that. My girlfriend, she's out on a visit. You can have the couch. And then everything just started growing from there.
Yes, everything started from there. You established yourself in Iceland, even to the point that you were asked by the University of Reykjavik to present your framework there. But you ended up not staying and moving back to Denmark, where you again started a business that failed for the first time. Oh my gosh, there's so many great stories that you can share, but we just have to do this in another episode. But let's fast forward to today. I know all the experiences that we go through as human beings are there for us to learn and to grow, and with that, becoming our next greater self, thus sharing what we know and sharing the experiences so we can help others in the process. And you certainly are doing it right now. You started the current company that you have. So when did you start that?
So that started this year on January.
Good
And
for you.
everything is growing from there. Now they want me also in their companies, and they want, yeah.
That is fantastic. And I know you are also working on a course that you are going to release so that no matter where someone lives in the world, if they want to work with you, they can do it. And I will make sure that your contact information will be in the show notes. Oh, Brian, thank you so very much for being here and sharing your story with our audience. And I can't wait to talk with you very, very soon. Have a great weekend.
Oh, thanks. You too, Sabine.
That was my interview. And if you enjoyed it, give us a 5-star review, leave a comment, and share it with your friends. Thanks for listening. Until I see you again, always remember, serve from the heart, follow your passion, and live the life you imagine.